It's me. Hi, I am in fact the target demographic for a novelty plunger. Even as someone who had raw sewage back up into her home and had to have her floors and most of her drywall removed. Through, in fact, no fault of my own. Anyways, here's Punch Drunk Love, a film that really needs its own dissertation, so if you're in the field of psychology, I can't recommend this one enough. And I'm so excited because I've been trying to watch this for at least 6 months, but it was like never on anything for free. Candy, what exactly is Punch Drunk Love about? Because everybody older than me keeps telling me it's Adam Sandler's best film. Okay, so Adam Sandler is a man named Barry. Barry has a company that sells novelty plungers. Now, Barry is a person that, one, is very interesting, but two, makes my heart hurt something fierce. He's got 7 sisters who absolutely abuse the shit out of him, and I do mean abuse. They call him gay slurs, they make fun of his violent outbursts as a kid, they berate him, they belittle him. And like the one time he reaches out for help in the form of like psychiatric care, he went to his brother-in-law who he thought might know a psychiatrist. And then his brother-in-law told his sister, who begins to fucking berate him for wanting to see a psychiatrist. Same said sister introduces him to a very nice lady, and then later on when he wants her phone number, she fucking berates him again. This man can't win for fucking losing. So he's going through a whole lot of crises. One, I'm almost certain, is obsessive compulsive disorder because he walked in and out of a door quite a few times. I don't know if it was repetitive behavior. I don't know if maybe he was just very nervous. But then he has violent outbursts. He's very reclusive, and I'm almost willing to say it might be manic depression, but we'll get into all of that. So, Barry is in a bad place both mentally and emotionally. Barry's in a very bad place both mentally and emotionally, so one night he gets up the courage to call a phone sex hotline. But he doesn't want to, like, have sex with the lady on the phone or anything like that. He just wants to talk. Well, come to find out, it's not a legitimate business, really. It's actually a mattress store with some girls talking on the phone in the back, and they're stealing credit card information. So, like, the lady he was talking to on the phone the night before calls him the next morning and asks him for money, and he's like, no. He calls the bank, he cancels his credit card. And after some harassing phone calls, the guy who's in charge of the whole operation sends his brothers to go collect money from him. But in the meantime, while they're traveling from Utah to California, Barry's sister introduces him to this very lovely English woman, and they go out on a date. And then she has to leave to Hawaii because she travels a lot for work, right? And he wants to see her so bad, he did everything he could to get to Hawaii same day, which included buying a lot of pudding that doesn't seemingly go anywhere until the very end, but we'll talk about that. But he bought a ticket same day, flew out to Hawaii, and stayed with her for 2 days. And like, so when they get back, they're in his car. He's coming out of the driveway, and he is hit by the truck that was sent from Utah. And she gets hurt in the car. It's not big. She gets like a bump on the head. There's a little blood. But he gets out of the car, and he has had a fucking enough at this point. He has had enough of everybody just taking the shit out of him. And so he John Wicks these guys with a tire iron. And then so while she's in the hospital getting like stitches or whatever, he drove all the way to Utah to confront the furniture man that was operating the whole business and threatened to beat the shit out of him. Still holding the phone, by the way, because he made a thing or whatever. And then he comes back and he finds his lady and has decided he is going to spend the rest of his life traveling with her all across the world for her job. And this is where the whole pudding thing comes in. See, there was this company that made a whole lot of different food stuff, including pudding. It was like if you bought 10 boxes of their products, they would give you 1,000 frequent flyer miles. And if you used a special coupon, they would give you, I think, 10,000 miles. So he goes through all this trouble to buy all of this pudding because it's the best price. Because if he timed it just right, after so many boxes of pudding, he would have 1,000,000 frequent flyer miles, which means he would never have to pay for another flight. Or something to that effect. So that's what he did. He went and bought all this fucking pudding, and then he had to get on the phone with the Healthy Choice company. It turns out it takes like 6 to 8 weeks to process, which means he couldn't use his flight to go to Hawaii, which is that whole thing. But now he can travel the whole world with her. The end. I like it. It's kind of weird, but like Big Lebowski weird, but not quite as good, but still good. I mean, I never bought like a shitload of pudding to travel around the world with somebody, but I did marry somebody so that I could travel around the world with them, so I think that counts. I'm gonna give it like a 9 out of 10. I think that's fair. Oh no, I forgot the other part of this. Okay, so they call it punch drunk love, which I thought was a weird name. You have the punch and you have the love, but where did the drunk come in? And then I googled it, and apparently punch drunk is like when you get hit in the face too many times while you're boxing, and then you're in like that drunk disorientation state. And then if you pay attention closely in the movie, you notice something very interesting. So in conversations, especially at the beginning of the relationship, if Barry has to talk to Lena, there's always something loud and obnoxious going on in the background that's overtaking it. The first time it was the forklifts dropping everything. The second time when he was on the payphone, there was like a whole parade going on. And I'm kind of wondering if that's like anxiety building up in his head as he has to make the conversation. But when she makes the conversation, everything goes quiet. And then when he's like at the grocery store, it kind of does that fuzzy thing around the edges there, kind of like a dream sequence, which is giving me like disassociation, which I think relates the whole punch drunk to the euphoric state. Okay, now I'm going to stop being technical. So 9 out of 10. Okay, bye.